So you could all rise and check if you would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Non-public and public meeting minutes from August 21st, 2025 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the public minutes and non-public meeting minutes from 8:25.
I'll second.
Motion by Scott, second by Sean. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Mr. Chair.
Would entertain a motion to seal the minutes from tonight's non-public session.
I will make a motion to seal the non-public minutes as they might adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a member of this board.
Second.
Okay, motion by Sean, second by Scott, seal the non-public meeting minutes from tonight's meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And the ayes have it.
Before you go on, August 28th is not, didn't get added to the agenda, but that's in your packets. So can you approve those minutes as well? They're from your work session.
Yep, so you want to move it?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 28th.
Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Scott to approve the minutes of the August 28th meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda for 9/4/25, consisting of accounts payable payment manifest dated 8/21/25, accounts payable payment manifest dated 8/28/25, payroll payment manifest dated 8/28/25, 2025 SNHS pilot agreement in the amount of $23,850.20. Appointment of Melissa Greenwood as cemetery trustee through March 10, 2026.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Sean, second by Scott to approve the consent agenda. Somebody want to just explain this pilot payment to me real quick?
Two things. The pilot payment is a payment in lieu of taxes for Riverview elderly housing. We do it every year.
This is for Beach Street?
No.
No, Riverview.
Oh,
Lake Street.
Riverview, okay, I'm
Riverview.
sorry.
So it's
Seven
either,
regulations.
it's the lesser of the two. So they're only allowed to do the taxes, which is local and county. We can't do any part of the school when we calculate their taxes, or they get 10% of their rental income and other income, and that's the 10%. It's definitely less. And by statute, you have to do the lesser of the two. So.
Okay.
The second thing, I did take the manifest off from this week. I emailed you that there was a glitch. The glitch has been fixed. I'll be emailing you tomorrow asking for email approvals. So.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the ayes have it. All right. Mr. Vanna, would you like to come up to the hot seat? I asked Peter to come in tonight. Peter's a friend of mine. We've had some discussions over some of the things going on with utility poles in town. There's an excessive amount of work going on between media lines going in, Eversource doing pole swaps. Peter has a history with the telephone company, Verizon, not Verizon.
Well, Verizon at the end.
Yes, Verizon at the end. So, but you have a long career in the telephone company, primarily in Massachusetts, correct?
Entirely.
Yeah, entirely in Massachusetts. So Peter has a much better understanding than I do about how this whole process works and priorities and who's responsible for overseeing this and being responsible for what is and isn't happening around town and on these utility poles. So Do you want to just weigh in, or do you want us to ask questions?
No, I'll just give you a real quick synopsis of how the monies get spent, because that's what it's all about. I spent 35 years in the phone company as a lineman, 15 as a lineman, and 20 as a supervisor. And this when it's allowed to get out of hand, double poles, becomes a nightmare.
Yeah.
There's 3 buckets of money that these companies all have. They have a C budget, an X budget, and an M budget. The C budget is placing new poles, running new wire, things that allow the company to make more money, basically, or improve the service that they're providing. The M budget, which is totally expense, is moving anything, moving cables from one pole to another, moving this, moving that, whatever. And then there's an X budget, which is the removal of cable, removal of old poles, removal. So the C budget makes money. The M budget costs money. The X budget costs money. So pure and simple, they don't want to do this work. How do you get it done? We had a huge problem with it. Finally, we got together as a foreman for the phone company, and a foreman from the electric company, and a foreman from the cable TV company. We got together and set up a process to get the transfers done, because that's what it takes. The power company sets the poles and very, very quickly transfer their wires from one pole to another.
Right.
Well, after that, there's no process.
Right.
And now we've got more players than I only had to deal with the cable company. Now you've got, I don't even know who's out there.
4 to 5 entities besides.
Correct.
Besides electric on right now.
We started seeing it, I'd say, maybe 8 years ago when they did the upgrade up on the foot of the lake down in North Main.
Hmm.
And those poles didn't get transferred for 3 or 4 years. And I fear it's getting worse than that.
Yeah. We had some walking sidewalks that,
Yeah.
that they were supposed to move for
To
years.
throw another curveball in there, there's a lot of areas in town where we have fire alarm cable that needs to be taken down.
Yeah.
That is our own problem.
Yeah.
That is, it's great, we decided not to continue the use of the system, but now we need to consider how we're gonna remove all that.
Right.
And I can tell you, it's not gonna be me hanging off the ladder truck, so.
Well, it's not allowed, yeah.
So,
So Eversource told me a couple months ago, they were putting a brand new pole in where they'd already put a brand new pole in. I asked them why. And they said they're putting in taller poles because Eversource bought every pole in the state of New Hampshire. And their plan is they need taller poles in order to make more money, to add more to it. So the reason in Bristol right now it's such a huge problem is they're trying to make more money by putting more lines.
leasing out to these other companies.
Yeah, they said that over the next couple of years, every single pole in town will be switched out to a taller pole.
Yeah.
So fiber can go on it.
Which is all well and great if they get rid of the old poles. And
Right.
it doesn't take 2 years or 3 years to transfer the other services.
2 years or 3 years, I know the poles sitting out there are rated 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. And it looks awful when.
That I went on, did transfers on, but then those companies.
They
never
have
came
a
back.
top third of a pole just hanging there and braced to the other, to the other pole because they didn't want to deal with it.
Well, we were getting delayed on Central Street project because we couldn't get them all to come move their stuff off the pole.
Yeah.
So,
So what we need to figure out is how do we need to
What can we bring to bear?
We need a plan of action.
Yeah.
Or can we take action to force these companies to complete this work?
Well, I can tell you that in Massachusetts, the select board in 2 or 3 or 4 of the towns got fed up with the fact that nothing was getting done as far as pole removal was concerned,
Yeah.
and went to the individual companies, being the electric company, the telephone company, and the cable company, and said, fix it. But it's gotta start somewhere. The pressure has to come from somewhere, because if not, there's no incentive for them to transfer
Right.
their cables.
I would think that Eversource, being the one leasing the space, whether it's on the new pole or the old pole, has gotta have some pull to be able to say, you have to have this switched over by X date.
They don't care.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
mean,
bother them
they-
because their power's running anyways.
And they've already done their transfer. You'll notice when
Yeah.
when the electric company, when Eversource sets a new pole, the first thing they do is transfer their, whatever their material is, their
Sure.
cables or whatever, to the new pole and cut it off at wherever. Well, then it's up to
Yeah.
the people below it. And there's a process that has to happen. The telephone company can't transfer until the cable company transfers. And the
Right.
cable company can't
Right.
transfer. There's so many people out there now. Somebody has to organize this thing. And the only reason I came in tonight was because I saw this happening a while ago, and now it's really gotten crazy.
Yeah.
So it's, I think, where's our first step? Is it to go to Eversource and say, we have this problem? How do we work with you to solve it?
Eversource owns the poles.
Yeah,
So that's where you'd have to start. And then it's up to them to try to organize the show.
yeah. And it's, it became a problem this weekend where there's a company out there working, and this, I don't know if you guys were aware of this, I think I might have mentioned it to you, but they were out there till 7 o'clock on Friday night, no traffic detail, no
Yeah.
flaggers, no police detail. Then back there again on Saturday of a holiday weekend. And the police department went down and ended up shutting them down. There wasn't even a foreman on site that spoke English. And they were just randomly going at it with no traffic control whatsoever. So,
I came from that environment. I have never seen so many safety violations in
Yep.
my life.
and there's actually a section down by Willamette Road where there is a secondary that hangs lower than one of the media lines. Yeah. So,
All right, well, let's start with, that's great information. It's much appreciated, and I know it's been a pet peeve of mine.
yeah, we've had the conversation. I figured it'd be a lot easier for you guys to hear it from Peter than me to try and articulate it secondhand.
Absolutely.
So, my other question, Peter, so you talk about this CX&M priorities. Is that strictly telephone company lingo, or is that?
Well, that's what, I don't know. I don't know what the cable company's lingo is, but
Yeah.
it's all the same process.
Yeah.
It's this bag of money makes money,
Sure.
this bag of money costs money, and this bag of money costs money.
And as usual, they're very efficient at the one that makes the money. And,
This one
Yeah.
gets the priority, always. And these two ugly sisters get
Yeah.
no priority at all, unless forced to.
Well, appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Feel free to stick around for the show if you'd like,
Have
or,
a good night.
thanks, Peter. All right. I just gotta figure out how to use SharePoint again, and
Well,
we'll,
it's up on the screen for you, Ron, but you
I can't read it.
can,
Traffic crosswalk.
Yeah,
you can make.
oh, yeah, oh, no, now I can read it,
There you
yeah.
It's-
Traffic and crosswalk concerns, so, I know did somebody request to come in?
Yes, actually, Jan Barrett requested to be on the select board
okay.
agenda, and we asked Chief Bean to be here as well, so.
Okay. First of all, I want to make a statement that I'm not here to throw the PD under the bus. I actually bake for them. There was a townwide yard sale July 19th, which I went to, and the traffic was horrendous.
Point of order,
Yeah.
can we get an introduction?
Yeah, I was just gonna do, I
I said her name,
apologize.
but she should
Yeah, so
introduce herself. yes.
Jane, just introduce yourself.
What's your name and what street do you live on?
Yeah, there you go.
Hi.
It's
We're gonna go backwards.
Sorry.
48 Hemp Hill Road, Bristol.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. The Purple Pit, there was a woman from Hill that tried to go from the Purple Pit across the crosswalk to the opposite side where the antique store
Yeah.
was. She was using a cane, got halfway across, and this herd of cars are coming down the hill, coming from Hill Way. And she thought, surely they're gonna stop because I'm using a cane, and she had had surgery. And all of a sudden, the guy was almost to her, and he slammed on the brakes and yelled. And she yelled back. And in the meantime, I parked my car at the library, and I started that crosswalk. And again, the traffic was horrendous in both directions. And finally, a New Hampshire car stopped heading downtown, so I got into the middle of the crosswalk carrying a bag. And a Mass car was heading north, and he saw me, and I thought, surely he's gonna stop. So I started to go, and he zipped right in front of me. If I put my hand out, I could have touched it. And the driver of the New Hampshire car had his window down, and he screamed, she's in the crosswalk. So the Mass driver gave him the finger and said, whatever, and went his merry way. And my point was, if it had been a child, they would have been hit, because they would have thought they were safe. And the amount of traffic this summer, the roads, the lake, the marinas, the bike path was huge. I was gonna stop at the PD that day and complain about where was the cruiser, and there was a cruiser in the parking lot with somebody who was trying to find his registration, I guess, and he was throwing papers in the parking lot. I thought, this is not a good time. So I continued home, but the following Monday, I stopped at the PD and spoke to Lieutenant Woodard and explained, you know, where was the police? And he said, actually, he and Chief Beam had that conversation Monday morning, just before I spoke to him, and the chief forgot that there was a yard sale townwide. And so I said, well, there was one cruiser in the AM, and that was the cruiser evidently that I saw, and there were two cruisers that were supposed to be in the afternoon. So I spoke to Lieutenant Woodard about signage, and I said, first of all, the state took away the crosswalk in front of Julie's that was going across to the thrift store, which was used tremendously. Yes, there is a crosswalk in front of the library, and there is another crosswalk way at the corner. But elderly people are gonna try to take the quickest route, and they still wanna go across, which is not a crosswalk. Tim and I talked about it, and I suggested, where is the signage? I mean, the state has a crosswalk for the bike path. They also, that's a state road. Is the town?
There's no
No,
It's
crosswalk.
not a crosswalk.
We're not allowed to have a crosswalk.
They
at that
took
time.
those away years ago because they said it was unsafe for people to cross.
Yep, that's what we
Okay,
said.
all right, well, the state's taken away everything. There is
They
one
did.
at
They took
Holiday.
the one at the church away too.
Yeah, and the blinking light.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there is one at Holiday Hills
Yep.
that they maintain. There is one at Shackett's that they paint. And my concern, and Tim agreed, was that why can't we have one? Why can't we have, like Shackett has? Stop, the state law, this is a pedestrian crossing. And there was rumbling about, well, the highway department or the semis, and I'm like, look, they do it everywhere else, come on. And
Sorry, I was a little bit lost, but where are you asking for an additional one?
I'm asking for one at the middle school,
Yeah.
I'm asking for one at the elementary school, where there is. I'm asking for one at the, before you get to the bridge.
On South Main
Signage.
Street.
She's looking for signs.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were
signage.
talking about
I'm
additional
talking
crosswalks.
signage.
Additional signage for the crosswalks.
Yeah, no, I'm talking signage. But if we want to talk crosswalk, I would suggest, well, that's at the end. I'll tell
Yeah,
you at the end.
let's
Okay.
stick to signage.
So anyways, the signage, we agreed. you can get solar panels, you can have flashes, you can do what Shacken has and just have the sign stay in the middle. But something to alert the traffic. They didn't stop until they hit the lights.
Yeah.
They were coming down the hill, they were coming in off Summer Street, and just full board. They were headed for the lake. And in between, everybody's blocked on side streets because it's the yard sale. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to it. They just wouldn't stop until they hit the lights. So, in talking to Tim, he suggested even that at the top of the hill, if you're coming from Hill into Bristol, before you start down the hill by the old fire station, there should be signage there, whether it's a flasher or something, so that they are aware that they can't come flying down at 60.
Yeah.
Because there is going to be there is a crosswalk, and there will be signage there, hopefully. And I think that, and Chris will have to tell you for sure, I think that the speed sign that is on a pole before you get to Cummings Beach is owned by the state. I may be wrong. If so, why couldn't that be moved to the top of the hill? As an example.
I was just thinking that, or add an additional one.
So, want me to answer that now?
Yeah.
Well, then,
There,
then the next day I talked to Chris Bean,
Yeah.
the chief, and we had that discussion again. And he agreed, mostly, but up came the question of budget. And in my world, it's not a school issue, it's not a police issue, this is a town issue. Now the middle school does have a sign on the front lawn. You can see it when you come downtown, and it was very interesting. It's the first time in years that I've come down the first day of school. And I was in this line from Dollar General, it was like a parade, and I could see the speed flashing on the light, and it was like 30, 29, 28, and all of a sudden there was all these red lights. And I'm like, maybe there's an accident. There was a cruiser parked at B Hop,
Yeah. I saw that.
facing the
that
middle
day,
school.
Yeah.
And everybody was doing their thing, and all of a sudden, here it is. And Tim agreed with me, just back in the day, and this ages me, there were 2 full-time police officers, yet they had a police officer every Saturday morning in that square, on the corner, to be seen as a presence and take care of the speeders, okay? And they worked like, I don't know what time they came on, but they worked till like 12 or 1. And it was a presence, and there were only 2. I'm not telling the chief how to schedule his people, but I think the town should consider having a police presence, and the lieutenant agreed with me. It would make a difference. And to have that from Memorial Weekend right through Labor Day, I would hope it would last until Columbus weekend. But I'm only talking a Saturday, I'm not saying Sunday, because it's just not everyone can come up Friday, although some are coming Thursday night to get to the lake. But I mean, the traffic has been horrendous.
So one of the issues with that, and I can remember when we had, some part-time officers that used to come in and work on the weekends, is that we no longer have part-time officers. So
I get that.
it basically becomes an issue where we'd have to have officers there on overtime, when we're already having difficulty trying to fill overtime shifts to begin with, because we have a department that's got a lot of seniority and everything, so they do have more time off than a lot of newer employees. So it's more difficult to get officers to come in on their days off to work shifts like that. So typically there's 2 officers on shift, and if we can, I'm sure Chief Bean and Lieutenant Woodard and the PD would be willing to try and make time for those officers to have more of a presence there on the weekend. But unfortunately, not only do we not have part-time officers, but it's next to impossible to hire part-time officers because it's difficult for, so it used to be 20, 30 years ago, you know, myself or Chuck could say, hey, we want to be a part-time officer. Well, great, go to this class 2 nights a week for the next 10 weeks, and well, here you go, you're a part-time officer. You've got guys that can come in, or gals that can come in, and direct traffic, or work details, or that sort of thing at $25 an hour, or whatever it may be. But now we're stuck with, you know, that's essentially, we can't add another position, but we're already spread thin with the personnel that we do have. So it becomes a matter of, you know, that would essentially, and tell me if I'm wrong, Chief Bean, we'd essentially probably have to add another position just to be able to try and cover that sort of thing. So that's the sort of thing that could go to the townspeople. If the townspeople approved another position with the PD, then that's great, but you're looking at a minimum of $100,000 increase to the police department's budget. So I'm not disagreeing with you by any means, so please don't think I'm trying to be negative. I'm just trying to tell you the reality of what we're dealing with now when we're trying to compare it with what happened 15 or 20 years ago.
The other issue is that this was in place even when Chief Clark was chief.
Yep.
He had Bill Finney down there an hour before, at the middle school, an hour before school began and an hour when it was dismissed.
Yep.
And there were no issues. I just don't understand this rub between the school and the police and who's gonna pay. And, you know, way back, years ago, we had this committee of volunteers, this beautification committee, who turned downtown into an oasis.
I don't think it's a rub whatsoever. I think it's just it's a sign of the times that you can't hire people to do things like that. There aren't people like Bill Finney that are kicking around that just retired a few years ago and want something to do a few hours a day.
There's plenty of police that have retired that are double dipping.
I understand that, but Chief Bean, do you think you could hire any of them?
So when John Clark had those, why that position ended was when Bill got done, we could never hire anybody again. We couldn't find anybody, again, that was willing to come in for 1 hour in the morning, wait all day, come in for 1 hour. We're gonna have, I think, the same problem with the crossing guard when he's all done too, where I wouldn't say it was a fight with the school, that got eliminated from the budget long before I came here, and it was filling the position problem. Then the school asked us for it. We said we don't have the money for it in the budget anymore. We weren't able to hire
Yeah, that's
anybody.
the story, I think.
You should have one of your employees come out and cross the kids because we can't find somebody. Going back on having the officer down there, that was when I was 21 years old, had no kids, and I worked just about every single weekend because nobody else worked them, and I felt bad. So, actually, I shouldn't say that. Jim Ward was our part-time guy, worked a ton of them. Anyone that he didn't work, then I was 21 with no kids, and I worked a ton of them. And again, it went away kind of around John Clark's end. Maybe he was already gone, but nobody was willing to fill them really anymore. I think the future planning for the town would be kind of an employee fill both kind of those roles. Like Plymouth PD has park enforcement at the end before school and at the end of school, the park enforcement goes to the high school and directs traffic and crosses people. I think maybe that's for future planning, a better road to look at. You're hiring them a little bit cheaper than what you're hiring a police officer, but then we gotta figure out how are we gonna bring revenue in to help pay for it, whether that be new parking ordinances in town. I think there's some parking issues when it comes to parking all day right in front of businesses.
Should be.
So I think that's a way to start getting some revenue, but fixes the parking issues down there too.
I would add, this is a huge discussion on personnel, budget, material, or whatever. But I think that there are some things that we can do. I think that, you know, the state controls the crosswalks, they control what signs you're gonna put on.
I realize that.
And I'm not kicking it down the road, I'm just saying that we will certainly see what we can get out of the state on better signage on those crosswalks. That's number one. Number two, I think there are some things, we can put some cones out on busy weekends. We can, we can do that so that it draws the eye more, because everyone, you are with crosswalks, it's just like, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah, they go around.
Unless something comes, in your periphery, 9 times out of 10, you're not even thinking about it when you're going over it. So I think we can do that. We can plan on that. That's not expensive. We can get some cones and some signs that we would have to, they wouldn't be permanent, but we would,
Right.
deal with taking them in and out. But, so that's number two. And then the bigger discussion is what do we do long-term for those situations?
And well, my point is, it's about safety.
Yeah.
And as I said, you have a beautification committee who made downtown an oasis, okay? All these new stores opened up. Where's the safety? I mean, the police department, not just our police department, every police department, it's serve and protect. Yes, they serve. And yes, but where is the protection? It kind of falls
I hear you.
around.
I hear you.
And my point is, if a child gets hurt or a child gets killed, God forbid, okay, I said to Christina, who are they gonna sue? The school? If it happens at that crosswalk at the school and then nothing is done, never mind the sign that they have now. And school gets out, the buses are lined up, and a teacher did close his class 15 minutes early a year ago, so he could go out and try to monitor. But that's cutting his class and putting those students at a disadvantage in my world, but nevertheless, he did it. So if a kid is in that crosswalk and they get hit by a car, the way it stands now, who do the parents sue? The school? The town? The state? The police? Are you willing to take that risk? That's my point.
Well,
Something has to be done.
certainly don't even want it to get to that, right? So I
Yeah?
agree with you 100% that there are some things that can be done
Yep.
and can be looked at.
Okay, well,
But
you might even think of asking Representative John Sellers to perhaps work with DOT, that's why we're sending him,
yeah,
and even think about the state putting in, I know they won't, but even ask about a crosswalk from Gina's to the thrift store somehow, saying they took the other one out.
yeah.
That's it.
At the
I'm done.
library. Yes.
So can I answer some of the questions? I agree pretty much with everything
Yeah.
that she said. When we talked, I completely agree, and it is
Yeah, we did.
100% a concern. I also took her words of wisdom that she gave me. I was going to put the sign on the front lawn of the middle school. That basically was the only place I could find that could be off the road. So I do agree. I do like the idea of the sign on South Main Street, the speed sign. We do own those. They're purchased from the state. They paid for them, but we own them now. We can't just move it. We can move it. We can't just do it tomorrow, though.
No.
We have to call the state. They have to come out. They have to approve this spot. They have to do the GPS coordinate and a whole bunch of stuff. But we can get that approved and get that moved over there. And I do think it's a great idea. I think there needs to be probably a better sign for a crosswalk ahead. 'Cause I think a lot of what the problem is people from not around here
Yeah.
come flying into our downtown, not realizing they're about to hit a downtown area, and then there's the crosswalk there. And the crosswalk's a tough one.
And you're right, and it's hard to make a left
It
out of
is.
that
It
square.
is.
It's
Yes.
impossible.
I remember we put a mirror up and the state took it down like a week later because they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Which
no.
is crazy.
Unfortunately, on the state level, I think your local workers here agree with everything you're saying, everything I'm saying. They don't make any of those decisions. They're the ones that deal with everything, but Concord is the one who makes all the decisions.
And that's what we
And that's the
bang
tough.
our heads against frequently.
Yeah, like
Oh, I
that
know
crosswalk,
Kelly
Yeah.
all the crosswalks that they removed in town, there's a reason, because there's a formula they have, and they found that they were all unsafe and removed all of them. So I agree, I think in regards to officers at those spots, that's a planning thing. I don't know if it's an officer, I think it's more of a civilian
Something.
employee through the police department, is
Yeah.
a more economical way for the town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think there's some ways we can make some money through that position that helps fund that. We just, I think, need to start planning that for
Yeah.
whatever that is.
We did meet today and talk a little bit about parking issues as well, because, and we talked about coming up, if you're coming off the corner to cross the street where Harold normally crosses you, you can't see you when you're
Yeah.
coming out until you're out by the road. So we talked about maybe, I hate to say, eliminate a parking space, but maybe you need to.
Where is
because
that?
Right on the,
Right on the corner, you're parked on the Gina side, closest to the crosswalk. Technically, that spot's an illegal parking spot.
No,
It was
you
brought
could
up,
take it.
it was brought up years ago, but it was always decided that's one less parking spot.
Yeah.
Technically, it's
You
too
could take
close to
To the
the
edge.
crosswalk.
Right.
And that does block, that does, I mean, I've driven through that crosswalk with somebody standing there and not
I
seeing it.
personally think, and also speaking for my wife, who I hear every time,
Same here. I told her the same thing when she came to me, my wife already gave it to me.
the two spots before the parking lot, before the crosswalk at the TTCC make
On
things
the
very
fence.
dangerous.
Yeah,
On the
Yeah.
left.
yeah, on the left.
Yep.
Because you can't see the kids coming up from the park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I go through there like 5 miles an hour, but a lot of
your
people.
wife
they
is
never
right.
used to be there, and I think they got added when we did that whole change
Yeah,
up.
yeah. And I hate, like you said, same thing, I hate to take any spot away because we need all of them that we have, but there are a couple that make it more dangerous.
I think if we had some different ordinances for parking downtown, not in the winter, but in the summertime, that helps. There's a lot of vehicles that people complain about that don't move, and
Yeah.
the ordinances don't allow us to move anything.
It's on my list for later.
Yeah, and I have a huge problem with being parked in front of businesses for
Yeah.
12-plus hours,
Yeah.
when those could be spots for elderly people going in to get a pizza, get a coffee.
I think what we need to look at doing is limit parking times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then,
2-hour parking.
That's what we talked about today too.
yeah,
Yeah.
there are residents that don't have, some residents that don't have on-site parking at all. And maybe those few residents we grant permits to,
That's exactly what we're
Yeah.
talking about today.
so.
Plymouth's got a pretty strict policy. They've got way more parking spots, way more meters and stuff, so like I reached out to them after we spoke, and their parking people make Plymouth a ton of money. I don't think Bristol's gonna be making money off of an employee,
Yeah.
but I think you could at least help fund
Yeah.
that employee
Yeah.
and not hurt the taxpayers of Bristol. It'll come in, yeah, there might be a fee for parking down there, but it's not gonna hurt anybody.
So, well, thank you for coming in.
Okay,
We
thank
certainly,
you.
not only do we appreciate your concerns, but I think we generally agree with your concerns.
Well, everybody agrees.
Yep, it's all in how we,
Also for the townwide yard sale, we've never had anybody extra in, however, the traffic is unbelievable in this town now. I told her my wife gave it to me too, that
Give her
same
a-
day, that same day.
Give her a medal.
And when it comes to like the events, I bring it up every year, we have a lot of events in town. It means we need to pay for officers, and I do agree that that day, an officer needs to be in the downtown area, because it was a nightmare.
See ya.
See ya, thank you.
thank you.
Bye, Jan.
Bye.
Yeah, Meredith has those flashing diamonds now, pedestrian diamonds. I think they must be silver.
Meredith's crosswalk's a nightmare.
They are all.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about the overhead blinkers, but, someone was killed there, so they had to do something.
All right, cemetery trustees update.
So I think all three are here.
Yeah.
Okay, all three trustees are here. Richard's the chair. In your packets, under number 6, is some information. We're gonna go from the trustees. There's an attorney opinion about cemetery closures, which is what they want to talk to you about, and you can certainly look at that. We've shared that with the trustees as well. And I will put them up on the TV.
Could you just identify yourself real quick and the other two?
I'm me.
All right, and they're them.
I'm Richard LaFlamme. I live at 105 Summer Street.
Yep.
My two other trustees is Chuck Cohen
Yep.
and Melissa Greenwood.
And you just
who is
appointed her.
our newest member.
Excellent.
So
Thank you.
we brought her on, she's been smiling, we put her to work in the cemetery today, so it was a good day. But one of the reasons why we're here is we've been looking at the cemeteries. As you know, we have 6 cemeteries under the town in Bristol. We have Worthing, Sweeper 2, Keyser, Sanborn, and Worthing. And of those 6, we're looking at closing 4 of them. And when we look at closing the cemeteries, we're talking about burials. We're not talking about closing the cemetery. You know, like putting a gate across the front and saying
Sure.
you can't go in.
Yeah.
But I've looked at, and I've talked to the other trustees at our last meeting, and I've looked at all of the cemeteries that we have. And because if you looked at the pictures that I sent of each one of the cemeteries that we want to look at closing 2 burials, okay? But when we say close it to burials, when we're looking at like Sleeper 2 is a bigger cemetery than the other ones that we're looking at to close. What we're looking at is closing the burials with the exceptions that if a family member or relative, distant relative, or somebody that's in that cemetery wants to be buried in there, then we could look at that as a base-by-base basis, and determine it from there. Like we just got done with the Sanborn Cemetery, which is one of the 2 that we're gonna maintain as an open cemetery for burial, because we just had a burial in there of Janet McGrath Worthing, who wanted to be buried in there by her daughter. But she was not a resident of Bristol, okay? She was in South Carolina. But because her daughter was there, because her son and other relatives have summer camps or residence in Bristol, we looked at it as though, okay, why can't we let her be buried there beside her daughter, like to go with her wishes? So she was buried there on August 2nd. But also in Sanborn right now, we have Susan Deneen, who is the owner of the property surrounding the cemetery. And she wants to be in there. She's already done a right to be interned. And that's already on record, so she's looking at being in there.
Richard, is Sanborn the one between West Shore and Country Club Lane?
No, this is the one on Peaked Hill Road.
Gotcha.
Okay, the Sweeper 2 is the one between Ackerman and Newfound Lake.
Yeah.
Worthing, of course, is right off of 104.
Yeah.
Heath is right off of 104. Keyser is up on Keyser Road. And
Sleeper's up by Slim Baker.
yeah, and Sweeper is up by Slim Baker.
Yeah.
And I went around and looked at all the areas, because we use find a grade, which gives us the deaths of the people that are presently in the cemeteries. So I was using that as well as actually been in the cemeteries, looking at headstones and doing the dates and all that good stuff. And that's where we came up with the dates, like in Sleeper 2, which at one time was just Sleeper. But there was a kind of an issue there, because you had Sleeper up by Slim Baker Lodge, and you had Sleeper off of Ackerman Road, which everybody said was off by the beach, or by the lake, which is closer to Ackerman than it is to the lake. So we were looking at that, and that's where we came up with Sleeper 2.
So which 2 are you technically keeping open?
Technically, we're looking at 4 of the cemeteries.
But which 2 are to stay
2
open?
are staying open is Worthing,
Yeah.
which is the one right off of 104 out here, and Sanborn. Sanborn is because we've got a present burial that just happened,
Mhm.
and we have a person that's not deceased yet that's going to be going in that cemetery. So you can't technically look at it as closing that cemetery because of the fact that somebody's going to be buried in there. Whereas the other ones, let me explain what we're looking at for the closure. Keyser, which is up off of Keyser Road. If you look at that, there's limited area for anybody to get into that cemetery
Pretty tough access to.
for access, right?
Yeah.
And the land itself is tiered.
Yeah.
So you got tiers that go up to all the way up to the back. And there's not very many spaces in there that you could actually look at as actually having a burial in there without doing the ground penetration, which the town is not responsible for. It would be the person requesting to be buried in there. So we're looking at that because of the different levels. And there's not much room in there. And what room is in there, you have sunken areas, which we'd probably look at as a burial that was presently in there without a casket, or everything is just decayed.
Right.
So, looking at that, there's nothing, we looked at that, but there's no place in there to physically actually do a burial. And it would be very hard for the people that do the burials to actually get into that cemetery off of Keys Road. They can go in off of Keys Road on the right on private property. There's a gate that goes in there, but that gate is pretty well grown in. So that would be the one on Keys. Sweeper 2, which is the one out on Ackerman. We looked at that as one of the potentials for burials, if need be. But we looked at a closure for burials there because of the contour of the land. In order to get there, you have to go across two people's properties,
Right.
which is the one off of Ackerman Road, and then there's a right-of-way that comes in on the back side of the cemetery, or actually on the front side of the cemetery. So, and then that's pretty much, you got burials in there. The last burial in Sweeper 2, to my knowledge, and the headstones was 1885. So we're looking at that as the one that would have the potential to have burials in it if need be. Okay, Sweeper up on the round top where I look at it. If you look at that, they've blocked off the roadway access that used to go down in the back area. They blocked that off with rocks. We're just no longer able to get in that way. So the only access through there would be to have the truck put the casket off on a special contraption that they'll wheel it down this roadway, try to get through the brush and everything to get into Sweeper. Sweeper.
We moved the rocks for you.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but it is a tough one regardless,
Yeah.
even without that.
And
Yeah.
the burials all in there, they're situated so that we don't know if there's other burials in there other than the gravestones.
Right.
So we looked at that as one of the other ones to, say, close it to the burials.
Yeah.
And I think that one actually is pretty much, at one time was set up to be a family cemetery. So it would be, and that's why I was saying that people that had relatives of the past
Sure.
that might want them, then you have to look at that on the other page. And the other one, last one that we looked at as closure is Heath, which is the one off of 104, in between the high school and the other places that are down there. To go in there, you got the pathway that goes down to the gate. You get on the other side of the gate, and there's nothing but slope. And you go up that slope, and you get up on top, and there's no room for burials up there. And I didn't think that anybody would want to be buried on that slope, because that's really deep. And so, for those reasons, we were looking at those 4 cemeteries to close for burials, okay? And then leaving Sanborn and Worthing open for burials. So, and that would give us two areas. And from my knowledge, the last burial before Janet was in 2010, which was also in Sanborn. All the other ones were in the early or 19th century, 20th century, and a few in the 21st century. So, and that's what we were looking at, we're closing it. And 289, the RSA 289 is written in there about closures and all the stuff that goes with it. And it kind of says that the cemetery trustees are the ones that are most responsible for that. But it's always a good thing to bring it in front of either the town selectmen or the city councilors, and then let them decide if they want to let the cemetery trustees close those cemeteries to burials or not. And then they also have at their disposal, if it was your desire, is to put it out for a, what do they call it? Town
You need it's gotta go on the warrant?
No,
Yeah,
Okay.
if that was the way they wanted
if
to
you're
do it.
gonna discontinue it, yes. If you're gonna discontinue it, it has to go on the warrant, but they're not, so they can do it at their own public meeting, but they wanted to make sure.
Okay, yeah.
I personally would have no issue with you folks making that
Yeah,
decision,
that's,
and that we would back you up. And I suppose if it ever did come down to a situation where you had, like a specific situation come up, then it would, in essence, be a variance almost
Yeah.
to allow someone, and if the board had to, if someone wanted to do so and they didn't get the answer they wanted from you folks, then it'd be their right to come to the board with it in the future. So I would say we would follow your lead on it and have your back on it. That's kind of what you folks are here to do, is you're doing the legwork and taking care of these things that we don't have the bandwidth to take care of. So and we certainly appreciate you doing so.
It's a lot more work in the cemetery than I thought. When I said, I'll accept, because my first issues into the town cemeteries was a volunteer.
Yeah.
Well, not a volunteer, but I took somebody else's place that resigned. Kind of like Melissa is doing, because she's taking the place of Cheryl.
sure.
And I've already told her if she wants to stay on, that in January she'll have to put her name on the ballot so that she can
Yeah,
be that way. But that was the thing that.
It's not usually a hotly contested race.
But she did get her first Viking into the cemetery, because we did go and rebuild the fence
Yeah,
for a sweeper too.
oh, nice.
And at the same time, I actually showed them how to actually do headstone cleanings.
Yeah,
So she's got her feet wet. And she didn't say, I don't want to do it now. So I think she's good.
as someone who runs across these all the time, in all the towns that I work in, I appreciate the work that you're doing. Really, really do. Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, it sounds like a
Thank
good
you for
plan.
coming in.
Yeah.
All of you.
Just so, too, the cemetery trustees are working on change to their bylaws so that we can, if we do ever sell any other plots in the future, we won't have that little account that has to be opened every time.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So they
Yeah.
are working on that.
yeah.
I'd be appalled to the punch.
Yeah, I'm in the process now of rewriting five different parts of the bylaws
Yeah,
to go in compliance with the zoning and the RSA 289 and other stuff that's arised.
great.
So
Yeah.
that's in the process. My plan is, I told the two that, my plan is to have that bylaws done by June of this next year.
Great.
So we'll see how it goes.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Yep. It's a good start.
Library trustees.
Right.
The library trustees asked me to come talk for them.
All right, well, if you could please identify yourself and your title.
I am Patty Hayward, and I'm the director of the Minot Sleeper Library.
Excellent.
So, our library trustees have formed a subcommittee, two of whom are here, to help address long-term building maintenance and large repairs to the library. And we have 3 upcoming projects that they asked me to present tonight to the select board. One is painting the trim of the entire library. The historic building especially is starting to get really shabby looking on the trim, and the old wood is
Dry rot.
dry rot
Yeah.
can happen if we don't upkeep that. We did get a number of estimates for this, which I have. I have estimates for everything. We got
What was it,
4.
Christine?
3.
Three.
We talked to 5 people.
Okay.
They're not in there because I didn't have them before the meeting.
I can give you guys the estimates to look through all of them tonight if you want to.
Can I sorry Penny, can I
That's
interrupt you for a minute?
Of course.
So some of this discussion is, from my understanding in my conversations with Paul, is that the library trustees are not, I think the board should understand that as well.
What?
That the library trustees are not allowed to own property, so the building maintenance falls to the town, which we've never technically
Had a plan for.
had a plan for or incorporated their changes before. So this is the initial discussions about what they need to have taken place. And then we need to also have follow-up discussions.
So this is the work we've talked about already.
Well, this is, yes. Last year we talked about this and we asked the painting on the trim, we asked the libraries to not do that and to focus on the emergency exit at the time.
That's part, yeah, I
But
have
we were
3.
referring it back to them because, and telling them that they have to pay for that. And now that discussion is being opened up again.
Okay, so give me a ballpark number.
Oh, I don't, can I just give you all the, okay. I'm not the numbers girl, that's these guys over here. So, and then we have kind of a two-sided quick glance, and then that's all of the quotes for everything. For all 3 projects.
My copy, just have like
Of course, thank you very much.
So, and some of our discussion has been that maybe we need to have like a building maintenance CIP plan, kind of. I just been texting with Don Milford.
Yeah.
And asked him to give me his Excel sheet so that I don't have to recreate the wheel if this is where route we're gonna go, but.
Yes. So that first project is painting the trim. I'm not gonna try to say where I think anything should come from because I don't have the right language nor, I don't know, quite frankly. That's
Okay,
that's up
so-
to you guys, but if there's a fund or if you need a warrant article, however you need to consider it. But we do have a number of estimates that should help.
So this isn't just painting, this is
It's
Pressure
the,
landscaping
Yeah.
here.
those are all the different things for all 3 projects that I have.
Okay.
That's like everything in its entirety that you have now.
Alright. Did anybody else want to see this?
What did you come up with for a ballpark number?
It's kind
There's
of.
quotes in there from
Yeah.
7,000 to 25,000 just in painting. There's,
Because they broke it down, so like for the whole thing, for the old and new part of the
Yeah.
building, and then just for what's really important right now for the old part of the
Yeah.
building.
so I can tell you right now, we don't have money anywhere in the budget for any of this year.
Oh, you mean in 26?
Right, and 25.
25.
Oh, no, we know that there's no money in the budget.
Okay, so I wasn't
We're
sure
looking
what we were
forward.
asking.
We're trying to come early enough so that we can look
Gotcha.
forward to 26
Okay.
and figure out how to get it into
Is
26.
this, Christina, did you before?
I was just gonna ask a question. Is this something you're saying all 3 need to be done next year? Or you're
Yes,
asking for
but there's
all 3?
more. There's
Or-
more. Let me kind of run. No, you wanted me to do it right.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna just run through quickly all 3 and then have you guys ask whatever questions of all of us that you might
Yeah.
have, if that's okay.
Yep.
The snow problem blocking the emergency exits. We have 2 emergency exits, one that comes off of the old building, which is our meeting room where we have all the events, and then there's one emergency exit coming off the children's room. The slate roof on the library dumps snow onto shoveled stairs, emergency exits over and over and over all winter. The highway department can do it once, right after the storm. They can come and shovel and clear the emergency exit, but they don't have the staff or the time to do it over and over and over. So we have estimates for secondary snow removal for 26. So for 25, hopefully we only need it for December, maybe November, hopefully never October. But the trustees are gonna use trustee funds for 25, for the rest of 25 for secondary snow removal. But we got estimates for secondary snow removal for the winter of 26, and then a backup plan that was suggested
So the
to
highway's
us.
clearing this every storm,
Only once.
only once.
Unless we ask them to go back.
We're trying, I mean, they're trying to get there, and I think, I think that it would be very helpful to the highway department for us to say, listen, we'll take care of the secondary, if you can just do the first.
Can you mind if I jump?
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Part of the problem with the highway goes through and does what they need to do, plow the driveway, shovel the walkways, but because it's a slate roof, we don't know when it's unloading.
Right.
And there are two pieces there. One, it's gonna unload on somebody potentially as they're coming out that door in an emergency.
Mhm.
And the second part is it's unloading and we can't get back there.
So I think what would make more sense to me would be to solve the problem by deflecting that somehow,
Instead of having to hire somebody.
instead of having to hire somebody every time to do this, particularly from a liability standpoint.
Mhm.
So I think I'd rather see a plan to.
That's what
That
we
is our
have.
plan.
That's my next step.
To get the roof.
That's my next step.
Oh,
So for now, we have estimates for secondary snow removal,
Yep.
but what we would like is to have roofs built over the exit stairs. So as a long-term fix, we'd like to do this next summer. We have been talking with Brackley Shaw. Paul has talked with Brackley Shaw, who was the architect. I'm like, I lost my place. Who built the addition, and he was going to try to come up with some people that we might be able to get estimates from to do that. And that would be the long-term forever fix where we don't have to hire anyone, and the highway department can quit wasting their time as
Right,
well.
Exactly.
So that's a long-term goal for next spring or summer of '26. And then the third thing is just also about the emergency exits. The emergency exit in the old building on the side, there's the little porch and then the steps that come down, and it comes down to the middle of a hill.
It goes to steps.
It goes to nowhere.
Steps in the
But we
way.
do have three granite slab steps that are located probably where something used to be in that building. And we got a quote to reuse those and move them over. So that would be,
That might be a problem for plowing though.
Yeah.
well, they probably still wouldn't, they don't have to be any lower than they're at now. They just have to go from the middle of nowhere to here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's why they left those stairs to nowhere, because when they plow, they're plowing up.
It'd almost be better to have a landing where
Yeah.
those steps end and turn 90 degrees and come and plateau it back towards the driveway.
Cut into the banking or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
so,
interrupted.
no, that's okay, that's really it. We have to figure out how to extend the steps, how to cover the exits, and until we can cover them after this winter, how to get the shoveled, I would be the trustees would cover it until January, and then I would put it in the budget maintenance line, which is $430. Just for like shoveling for those 3 months,
Yeah.
4 months, probably January, February, March, April, for 4 months. So
So
you'll see that again.
this sounds like, 2 or 3 one-off projects that can be accomplished all at once.
I think
So
so.
it sounds like it's something that should probably go as a warrant article.
That's,
That
yeah.
would be the most expedient
Yeah.
way to do it.
So that would be my recommendation, is to, have a plan in place, have 3 estimates or 3 estimates on whether, if it's 3 different entities, 3 different estimates
Each
on each.
thing needs 3,
One.
yep.
Um,
And we have 3 on 2 of them already, right?
Clarification, the warrant article would be on the projects, but not on the temporary, that would go into the budget.
Temporary would have to go in.
Yeah, that's,
For
yeah.
temporary, I will put in budget line 430 for January, February, March, and April.
And I can help you with the warrant article wording and get
Oh,
that.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think not only that makes it the most expedient, it also is the most directly transparent way of doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking
Exactly.
too,
Yeah.
but I figured that would be
Yeah,
your
that-
suggestion.
See, I mean, it doesn't sound like anything unreasonable. One of those quotes seems a little unreasonable, but.
Yeah, that's why we got a number of.
Exactly.
Did you try again?
Oh, never mind. My
Can you
phone's
try
dying.
again? I And then I think long-term, we work on the plan.
Yeah.
Well, when did your boiler get fixed? What's the estimated time to fix it? How much money are we putting in the building maintenance fund then?
Yeah.
But
Perfect, yeah.
All right,
We just wanted to bring it forward early enough so that we could get it into the 26th. The
great.
idea for the 26th budget.
And it's one of those things, you may go to town meeting and that, you know, the hard questions are gonna be asked, you know, do we need to do this year? Can this wait
Right.
a year? Can it wait 5 years? And that can all come out at town meeting and, you know, let the townspeople decide. That's the glory of town meeting, so
Yeah.
it's not on us.
And I think we've seen that, you know, I can't speak for what would happen, but I think we've seen there's been, you know, pretty widespread support for the library.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there has. This town is great like that, so.
Yeah.
And fixing something once that will be a long-term fix is better financially than to just do short-term fixes
Exactly.
over and over, so it
And
kind of.
especially, there's a liability side of it too. I mean, I'd love to say, don't you guys have a shovel down there? Well, I also don't want a library employee out on disability because they hurt their back out shoveling.
Right. And it actually-
Shouldn't have to be shoveled that way.
It took highway department 3 guys about an hour and a half to shovel out the steps
From after it.
after it dumped,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, then you're then talking
Concrete.
about
Yeah.
concrete too.
Yeah.
It's not-
Yes,
Wow.
yeah, it was a lot of work
we
and,
had a little confusion too about where the access was, because we couldn't believe somebody was coming out that way, and then we didn't probably shovel it for a few storms.
Yeah.
So it was definitely concrete.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yes,
Thank
but
you
we
to
could-
the library and the trustees for the
Yeah.
work, the background work on that.
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of background work
Yep.
that was done by
Appreciate you guys
our
doing that.
subcommittee, so a lot of meetings, a lot of calls.
Yeah, so I mean, it's, I think, I can't speak for the board, but I probably do speak for the board that you have our support going forward
Thank
with it.
you, thank you very much.
That we're willing to present it for you. and we'll go from
Perfect.
there.
Great,
While they're here, I just wanted, the butterfly garden, we
Yep.
talked about it last meeting, and we haven't found anything that says anything different about who's responsible or who owns the property. It is implied that we are responsible and own the property, so the board did talk about it, and we want to close the butterfly garden when the library, at dusk or when the library's closed, I can't,
Yeah,
where did we,
I think we talked about dusk,
dusk?
yeah.
I love that idea.
So I have to order some signage, get some signage ordered, we haven't done that
I'd like
yet.
to shut the lot off after a certain time.
Love that idea
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And we also talked about making across the board plan for parks, because that's kind of like a park,
It is, yes.
so.
We just need to install a metal gate that comes up from the ground.
Then they can get in from the river.
Well, in that case,
Well, that's a lot of effort. Excellent.
thank you.
All right, thank you. This is your copy. Do you guys want to hang on to that copy?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure, we'll
please.
keep it.
Okay.
If it's okay, sure.
Yeah, absolutely, we need more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There should be a rule.
I
When
know.
you're gonna eat, or bring food for everyone.
What, DoorDash your dinner?
Lidwell
I keep
leftovers.
smelling it, and I'm like,
It's not even heated up.
I'm getting ready to like call my wife and pick up Lindcross for me, Sean, and Christine.
I have heartburn just smelling it.
oh yeah. We're on TA report. The first thing, I don't know if you wanna look in your information only folders, there's, info number 1 I thought was interesting, I thought you might wanna read that. The rest of the stuff is just there's some pictures in there from events that have come up I thought I'd share with you. And some updated data from land use, market data from Constellation Energy. The updated budget schedule for, which includes the select board and the budget committee review, and some other things, general notifications for you. I don't know if there's anything in there you want to specifically talk about, but.
I'm gonna go off script here a second.
Okay.
No, it's good. I need your help for a second. Can you please come over here?
Are you having trouble with SharePoint again?
Yes. So here's the issue that I keep having, this throws me totally off.
Go.
I opened up the information only folder. How do I go back without going back out of this whole thing?
At the top where it says documents, select board minutes.
Go, see where all I think you can click there, all document. Why is that? I haven't played in here enough. Where are you?
My mouse was acting up, so like I'd click and then.
Yeah,
No,
see,
there's-
that's the only way I can do it is to go back and do it all over
You're
again.
supposed to be able to click on documents
Right.
over on that side. Whoops, I touched
Just-
your screen.
Because unless
Sorry.
I open it.
Click up here.
Up here?
Yep.
I touched your screen, sorry.
Right, and then you go back to 9.4.
Unless I open it in a separate, so like in that situation, what I should have done is, where's the
So
information only?
click that one there, yep.
Yeah, so if you right click and then you open it, where is it? I should be able to open it to another window.
I mean, you could do that.
But now you come here and
Yeah, just go up a
so I
board.
gotta go,
Says-
Yeah.
now I can go there.
There, yeah.
I can't do it when it's
When
just
you
on
do
the
it
right
over
side
here,
there.
it's harder, so if you
Yeah.
do it there, you can.
Okay, thank you,
And I
sorry.
think you can use
about
the
that.
the
We're-
back browser too.
No, you
No,
can't.
you can't.
Well,
It-
but
Yeah, you gotta start all over again, that's why I asked.
Okay.
Just wait.
I see, I
Yeah.
do it on my computer in a folder. It's not in SharePoint, but because it's shared to you that way,
Right,
that's how you can see it.
so,
So anytime I change the files, you can see them automatically.
sorry about that, I just
Shown
frustrated.
here, right?
No, I'm okay.
Do you need anything?
Yeah, I had it.
You want some Advil?
No, I can't take it.
Oh, I don't have anything but Advil. so-
I got it in the truck. I've already taken it.
Okay. So is there anything in info that you want to talk about?
I think we're good there unless Sean or Scott have something.
Flies. Just regular TA report, I got an update on community power. They will only launch when the least cost granite basic rate offered through their program is lower than that of Eversource. We did put this, I think this might have gone out in the buzz as well, but it's to ensure that the initial round of enrollments is financially beneficial to participating customers. The earliest this could occur is the upcoming spring of 2026. They are embarking upon planning for another launch in March of 2026. It did say, as you know, Bristol's March 2025 launch was deferred in January when rates became prohibitive. However, preparation for the launch had begun again in November, and they're beginning to work on the similar schedule. So our contracts were signed, they don't expire, but we would need to endorse participation again, and Energy Committee will be back to us once they start that off, but it doesn't look like it'll be until March of 2026. For employee appreciation for September, Bristol is again grateful every month that we are for our employees that celebrate their anniversary dates for joining our team. In the executive office, we have Shannon Morton. She does continue her role with us per diem and celebrates 5 years. Fire Department, Ingrid Heidenreich celebrates 6 years. Nicholas Marsh, 5 years. And then in the police department, our crossing guard, Harold Bomer, has been with the town for 23 years. Under select board meetings, website advertising, this came up at last week's meeting, the week before, about the website not being, it being misleading. So I did update, and I'll just show you. I did update some wording in 2 locations that the meetings are advertised. I'm gonna ask Kate to help me with one of them when we post agendas from now on. On the select board page, what I did was just post, select board agenda, non-public session 5 PM, and select board agenda 5:30 PM public session. It's the same agenda, it's just 2 entries for it.
Yeah.
And when you check the calendar, you can check either calendar on the select board page or the main calendar. the select board meeting folder, both agendas also show, even though they're the same agenda, they show the times right there, so people can be clear. If they go to your select board meeting schedule page, I changed the wording on this page to say it's strongly recommended the public check each meeting's agenda to determine the time the meeting starts. I also added a blurb because we don't change that page when we add a meeting. That's just your regular meetings that are set for the year. So I added a blurb to remind people to check the calendars too, because sometimes we do add a meeting, so. If I missed, Deb's gonna do a look at the website, Kate will probably do a look at the website. If I missed any locations, they'll let me know, or if you see something else you'd like to see done, let me know, so. Election, we also have started 2026 elections, town meeting and budget. I changed the title, it's shared on the budget committee set page and it's on the select board page. The only thing that's there right now is that we're starting our process, and then the budget review schedule is just the schedule that we're gonna start doing, the deadlines for the budget committee, deadlines for us, etc. So. North Main Street parking, Rob had asked that we add the parking, we can't.
Why?
So those spaces that are, I checked with Victor, those spaces that are there, which I'm glad that he remembered that, they have to be designated non-parking spaces. If you look at them, they're across the street from driveways, and when we did the Safe Routes to School, it was a requirement. Victor mentioned he thinks it's an easement. It's a requirement to keep them open, so when they pull out of their driveway, because that is a very narrow section
They
there.
can make the swing.
They can make the swing, so we can't change them, if it's an easement, we can't change them.
What if we put a,
I'll just park there during Old Home Day from now on.
you do a parallel one right there, be pretty hard to get in there, but.
Yeah, it would be, but, so that, when I talked to him, that's what he said, because of the Safe Routes to School that we.
We need someone there telling people pull all the way in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or go back, and you see them pull in, go back and page them, please move your car in
Yeah.
for events, but.
Someone had that one a day ago.
Great having 4 reserved parking spots down there for myself. I mean, I just figured it'd make more sense to let 3 other people park there too. Actually, people, once I do
I
it.
think maybe you're saying that out loud.
No problem. Because there's more than enough room for people to get out of their driveway with, as long as you pull in far enough.
I forgot to ask when the library was here, did you check the trees?
I checked, I did not check the one at the river, I forgot to do
that's
that.
right.
I did see the picture. I think we have to talk to DES.
To see if
It's
they're-
been my experience when we try to pull a tree out of a river. They want to know.
You don't think it's a safety issue, the way it is though, do you? Because it looks like it's pretty flat and not.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I don't think so. It's not, it's above, I mean, currently it's above where, mostly above where it would constrict the water flow. I don't see it being an issue. So I guess I would probably ask Highway Department to just check with the state to see if we need any kind of permitting there. But
Okay.
maybe it'll go away on its own.
Yeah, nice. It's supposed to rain.
Yeah,
Not enough.
not enough, right. I looked at a couple of the other ones that were showing poor health, and mostly it's just, it's drought and typical. It said it was a magnolia tree, but I don't believe it was a magnolia tree, but that's all right. It may, I used an app, there's some soil amendment recommendations, I'll follow up with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I will double check. I'm gonna let them know that we don't believe that it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
It's more of an aesthetic issue, but, we'll have the highway department check with DES
Yeah.
on it, so.
Yeah.
Number 7, copiers. I had sent you the information. I got a non-appropriation clause and I signed the agreement, but Dawn came back with something about maybe we should send it to town meeting. my interpretation of what I sent you was, as long as we have a non-appropriation clause, and these are, like the smaller equipment
Yeah,
type things, that we were okay going ahead and doing the agreements. And so I just wanted to make
I
sure.
don't think it rises to.
Okay, that, I didn't think so, but, Brews and Views quarterly meetings in your folders, we're changing the name, but for now, 2 things are in your folders. Under discussion, the first thing is under, did I skip that? Apparently I did. We've changed it to pulse check. Can't make up a joke about beer. So, but we changed it to pulse check. I've scheduled them in November. There had been a question about Rob or John and attending November, but I was thinking you may want to, because you're, depending on what you decide, your term is
Or Scott,
Rob.
they're both up.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want who. Rob and John were the 2 that said they would attend November.
Yeah.
So the flyers are in there, they're set. I can send invitations, but mainly, we had to split them up because of the holiday and because my schedule is getting wiped. There are 3 in November and 1 in December. So I don't know if you have any thoughts any other way. Rob, do you want me just to send you the invitations and see if you can go to them?
I can pretty much handle them, yeah.
Okay.
They're spaced apart enough.
So the second thing, under TA number 8, I wanted to touch base on what came out of them. So it doesn't matter, I guess, which one you start with. You may have to make it a little bigger to look at it, but if we started with assessing and land use and just made it larger, they came out with 19 things. And that was, not just assessing and land use, so people know, it's assessing land use, town clerk, tax collector, executive office, beach and library, where this meeting, Sean and I were at. And so, some of the things, one of them is, number 1 is what we've kind of talked about tonight already, the perpetual maintenance, putting my typo info together for the town. So I put discussions with department heads and select board and create a CIP type model. So I tried to put the question, what their comment was and what suggestion was at this point. Number 2 is, we've already talked about this, library safety, parking concerns. We discussed the select board possibility of closing the butterfly garden after hours. Boy, do I have typos. Apparently I couldn't see my writing. Changing public Wi-Fi to be off hours, we did that already. And check the trees at the river, and we're doing that already. Number 3, there was a recommendation to consider beach cleanup day before Memorial Day. So I want to kind of briefly go through these to see if there's something the board felt we should be doing right away, or if this is something we would put on hold. Number 4, relocate Dodge Pot at Cummings. The Dodge Pot, Cummings has a Dodge Pot, but you're not allowed to have dogs at the beach. I don't understand, 1, why we did that, but Deb says we did it because there were accidents at the beach, and we were giving place to clean.
And people do go to the beach with dogs after hours.
They're not supposed to, according to the rules, but they do. So, it says, gives the appearance where it's currently located that dogs are allowed. It's suggested that to move the Dodge Pot up near the island, and kind of like, was it the island, Sean? Move the Dodge Pot up near the island, closer to the state road. My only concern was your dog is really close to the main road, but I don't know what your thoughts are.
Deb's the beach supervisor, wherever she wants to move her, tell her to put her there.
Yeah, exactly right.
Certainly, we need to.
Signs on guardrails, they felt there should be more permit parking, no dogs. They felt when people pulled in, if there were more along the guardrails at Cummings Beach, that would be more of a deterrent. We have signs everywhere at the beach though, so. Sorry, I suppose I should have this folder out. refer to Deb. Weekend coverage for PD is minimal for beach staff. That was a huge concern for the beach crew. They have trouble, it's hard to get when they need it. PD's been great, going down when they need them, but the weekend, it's harder. So they mentioned that. Day pass for beach, there was a beach staff attendant as a resident and attendant who is asking this board don't go back to the day passes. Partly because they feel the residents have little access to the lake and the residents should be the priority. Review trees at both beaches, they're dying. Consider start coming up with a plan to replace the trees, remove the dead, and have a plan to replace them, which is gonna be expensive, potentially, right? Consider allowing even.
Can't believe they haven't
Oh,
planted trees under a power line.
yeah, all the way down Avery
All the way down,
Crest.
yeah.
Yeah, but they're all dying out
Yeah.
down there, so. This has been handled already, number 9, so I'm gonna skip it. Number 10, I know they kind of slipped through the cracks this year. Consider seasonal speed bumps on Shore Drive,
No,
or seasonal speed limits.
speed limit, we already talked about.
And we couldn't do it.
Why would we do
You
this?
can't do it below 25 miles per hour.
Oh, you can do it to 20, you
They
can do
can't
it to
enforce
20 now. You
They
can do
can't
it-
enforce it, and I was saying just throw one up
No,
there.
you can now. I talked to you guys, you can set a seasonal speed limit now, no lower than 20. You wanna do it at 15.
Correct.
And so you can go to 20 and set a seasonal speed limit now. This is new. The RSA, I don't have the process on how to do it, but is 20 agreeable?
Process is you go get a sign and
I
put it
think
up.
that's it, and honestly, I think you can enforce it, I think
Yeah.
that's it now.
20 miles an
It
hour,
just
you're still
changed.
gonna be too fast on
I was
it.
gonna say, it's not 5 miles per hour, not gonna make a difference.
Right.
So why don't you like speed bumps?
Talk to Victor.
But a removable, Victor didn't want them left in
Yeah.
because it would impact,
Oh, yeah, no, that'd be
Plowing.
awful for plowing.
It's like at the high school.
so I can talk to Victor.
You're fine.
Outside of that, I just don't wanna create more of an issue for the highway department. It's already an issue with on Newfound Road, so.
Yeah, if they take them out.
Now they take them out late, but they do take them out now, yeah. Recommend that's been handled, we already told them at the meeting. I did check that one off, sorry. Review pine trees at Cummings. I figured we could recruit our favorite forester to do that at some point. Concern of sand in the garbage bags, I'm gonna talk to department heads with that. We are gonna.
Can we go back to this one about issuing tickets?
Yeah, we didn't allow first-time people to issue tickets this year.
Probably not a bad thing.
Yeah. So, but if this person comes back next year, they will be put into the round to be able to issue
Yeah.
tickets, so.
That's at the beach.
That's at the beach, yep. Purchase more tools, we're gonna check the budget at the end of the year and do that in different rates and shovels, I understand why. Comments were made about lake water level being too low. There was a comment about welfare and HR combined, it's very busy, welfare is no longer a 10-hour position. I do think we'll have to talk about that budget time, so. And then there's no good way to get information out to employees, that's true, we used to be able to stuff paychecks, we don't give out paychecks unless, we have like five checks to do. The Harper's program we've gotten for payroll isn't doing what we were supposed to be able to do. We have, anything we put out to employees, we have to give to them to set up and put out to employees. And that's not feasible in the long run, so we're gonna look at options. And then there was a comment that came up, Bristol stopped painting the gray turnouts, which we did because we couldn't do we were just
Pattern.
pattern anymore,
Yeah,
and the
they
state
paved
wasn't
it.
gonna do it.
Yeah,
But when they redid the lines this last time, they got rid of that space.
yeah.
So I don't know, obviously we can't do anything right now, but maybe that's something,
The yellow line is moved over so there's enough space.
yeah.
They just didn't have that other line
What's
like
the
they used to.
concern?
But what did they mentioned that at the meeting though? They felt that it was eliminated. Do you remember?
The space is there in terms of the width of the road between the yellow line and the side of the road. But they don't have that turning lane painted,
Right.
right? That turning lane is gone.
Coming down the hill.
Yeah,
It's very, they should have an arrow.
to turn left, right. So there's still room enough to do it,
To do it,
but there's no indication that it
that it's
can or
there,
should be
right.
done, and I think some people aren't taking advantage of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could probably ask DOT about
Yeah,
why not putting the turning lane
Yeah.
back in. And that was one of them. The meeting, they were really good. Highway, water, sewer was the very first one. They had 7 items. First one I've already addressed. Number 2, there was concerns raised about, because this year the parks were so dry. Watering parks, will the town consider this in the future? The only park that ever gets watered is the Kelly Park.
Kelly Park.
And potentially the downtown really needs something, so that's on the list. Consider dash cam cameras in town vehicles. That was a good discussion. I put that I would have to check legality first,
Yeah.
and reach out to other towns. Consider, consider Monday through Thursday summer schedule for other departments. I think there was a little jealousy there.
Water and sewer.
Yeah. This was a good one. Review on-call rates, so we're gonna probably bring that up in budget.
Yeah.
When one of the people pointed out it's like 50 cents an hour to not drink a beer
Right.
because they're on call, and so that's what it ends up coming out to, is like 50 cents an hour to be on call. So. And they probably haven't been reviewed. We just moved highway up to water and sewer's rate to match them, but I think water and sewer's been that rate for a while, so. Consider purchase of golf cart for events, that came out. And that actually, Old Home Day golf carts never showed up. So,
Where do we rent those from?
the person who bought, golf carts from
On 104?
on 104, he's in Franklin now. He showed up for community night, he showed up for us for fireworks. But he never showed up for Old Home Day, and there was supposed to be 2 carts, so. Phase 2 Robeson Road came up in this meeting. They thought it would be nice for EDC to pursue a build out, and that came up in our work session
We
last
talked
week.
about it, yeah.
Transfer station, they had a lot, there were 20 items there. There's some things that make sense that we should look at the end of this year, depending where the budget is. Purchase an industrial fan for the baler. When they're baling, it's extreme, on hot days, it's very hot down there. Look into getting better lighting down by the baler. That's more of a safety issue. Look into extra plugs down by the baler. They're running extra cords sometimes, but if there are some more plug-in areas, so those are all really easy, I think, doable fixes. And awning over the shed window to block the sun. I mean, when you're sitting in there and you can't see, that was a good point, so. Work with the sustainability committee on more public education on the cardboard, so we're able to use more of the cardboard. There was an issue with people leaving items after hours. Yes, I'm still working on cameras. But that was one of the concerns. Flag etiquette came up, so I actually got back to that, and I've got some documents I'm gonna put into the town administrator's corner.
I lowered the state flag on Monday,
Yeah,
because someone asked me to do that, to look at it.
oh, they were all lowered. We were supposed to have them back up by Monday.
Well, whatever day it was, Tuesday when I went to the transfer station.
Oh, Tuesday then, because
It was
We
brought to my
never-
attention that the state flag was still above the American flag because they had lowered it for the shooting.
I asked them to be very careful putting that back up. Okay,
So I did that.
so, I lowered this one,
Yeah.
but, and then I had to untangle it because it was, you couldn't, it was all tangled.
Yeah.
So I am gonna post some stuff about flag etiquette. Sticker checks by the select board, we did talk to them about it, and we told them we wouldn't be doing that till the spring. But they like the idea, and Sean mentioned the idea that maybe the select board members can schedule individual times to drop by and check things out on occasion, which I'm sure you're up dropping off stuff anyway.
Yeah.
The sticker size now, they wanna keep it larger, I've already talked to Cheryl, they're doing that. The scale came up again, and we talked about space needs, what we could, because definitely you can't expand much in the transfer station right now. That's all you're gonna get. Can't even expand recycling right now unless we start looking at space. Which is the next one, consider site options for space. Can we post speed limit for the transfer station? There's no speed limit sign as you go in, so.
Maybe just a slow sign.
Yeah, maybe that would be better, slow. Can the town reduce the speed limit on Ayers Island Road? I don't know, that's a state road, I don't know if we could, we could talk to the state. The ordinance should be updated, and we did let them know that's being worked on, Chuck's already doing some research on that. How long will Hub 66 be on location? Is there a better place for them to store their stuff? I said, I would review that, but I said they're gonna be here for a while unless we can work something else out, but. Replace the door in the transfer station with one that opens correctly, told them to do that now. The building is sinking,
Which building?
the first shed is starting to sink on the back corner.
The control shed.
So Chuck is working on a
Yeah,
quote now.
it's not great.
Yeah, he's working on a quote now. We have Rude coming up to do the work on the baler shed, so we've asked them to look at that and give us a quote.
Mark said that he believes when they put that in, that that the electrical has a slip-down fitting, but the water, would have to be.
Oh, for the bathroom.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, to level it, you're okay on the electrical side, but on the water side, it would have to be unplumbed and plumbed.
They were trying to say that the only thing you need to do is put some fill in there. I'm like, no, it's not gonna clear your problem. If it's eroding, there's something causing the eroding.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the fact is, it's nothing more than a cheap shed.
Right.
It's not a facility building.
but Reed said they would look at it and see what they could do. Consider names on shirts and uniforms.
Yeah.
We said, we thought that was fine. This one came up again. Bristol stopped painting the gray turnouts, and when the state painted lines, they eliminated space. That was the second time that it came up in the meeting session, but
But what's the concern?
because they feel that the turning space got eliminated, and it's causing more traffic backups. I think that was the general.
Yeah. So
Um,
not every one of these is related to the department?
No,
Because
Right.
we told them.
No, that's fine, no, I know that, but I'm just looking to feed it.
yeah. And then the last one was consider portable dumpster for the PD fire department building.
Yeah,
Because what they're using, you have to almost climb in to get the garbage up, and they're supposed to be updating the stronger bags, the bags rip out. So they thought, their recommendation was a portable dumpster, but I don't know, we'd have to look at where, so,
Who's gonna pay for it?
yeah. I don't know.
police and fire.
So the police and fires meeting, parking, consider adjusting the overnight lots to not allow camping. That was a good point, because we were trying to figure out words, to stop the sleeping in vehicles issue. And one of the, actually it was Sergeant, right? The
Yeah.
sergeant recommended, he said that not allowing camping would cover that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's something to think about when we redo.
Camping, 2 hour limit.
Yep.
Permits for people that are residents that don't have on-site parking. Done.
I did put that down already. Employee Wi-Fi, there's a problem with it, I'm looking into getting it fixed. Employees are very great, so this was something that was nice to share with everybody. Employees are very grateful for the new building, and they appreciate the support that the select board has given them to get the new building, so. Building safety concerns for reception came up. We're gonna look at, I have to look at this building, panic buttons, eventually they're being eliminated, this building is gonna be eliminated. The panic buttons are obsolete that we have. They came from the old building and they were renewed here. We're not gonna be able to get parts eventually, so I may put them into the sequence and the library into the sequence, but looking at options to add the Lexon panels on the fire department side. They were only added on the PD side. Crosswalk issues downtown came up. North Main Street, one-way street concerns came up. One of the ideas that came up was consider a white line across the end of the one-way and add a stop sign coming towards Mayhew Street. That was one, I don't know if that would work. I talked to Victor. Victor said, Victor and Chris, we talked a little bit about the one-way streets today. They feel that some of the people that are doing it on purpose. They live there, they want to go around. They feel it's happening on a lot of the one-ways over here. There are people that cut into the school, on School Street. We know it's a property owner, we keep meeting on it. And not School Street, Spring Street, sorry.
Yeah.
So, they were, but.
He did tell me he was gonna be going around from now on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it came from one of the, actually came from the department head there about painting the white line and a stop sign. Victor said you just have to make sure you put another sign on that said left turn only or something
Yeah.
at the stop sign, and that might help, so. I think you're gonna get people blow through that stop sign for a few times, but, so I'll leave that there and let you think about it. Good comments about how well all departments are working together. There was also, somebody felt there should be additional crossing locations in town. It's funny that came up tonight. Dollar General, I would say, New England Family Housing, they felt there should be crosswalks there.
Yeah.
The crosswalk on South Main Street, I called it Able Block, but I don't know if that's the right name. They felt that is dangerous. It is. We talked about that tonight. And then consider removable speed bumps on Shore Drive. Consider 2-hour parking downtown area. Can the town restrict business owners, employees from parking in front of their businesses? And that's it. I mean, some of it we're already working on since these meetings because it's come up.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that they came out with some of the same things that we've been talking about. So.
They were good meetings, it was good participation, once you got things rolling, as usual. Once you get
The last one was the,
police and fire.
yeah, trying to,
It was
I'm
like
like,
pulling teeth to get started, but once we did, there was some good stuff.
we did offer them, we did a drawing for anybody who attended, and we ended up with was 28 people, and then we added the ones from fire, so about 40 people altogether, I would think. And then we did the drawing, and Sean picked Dottie from the drawing on last day, so she got a gift card, so. But,
I picked her name, I
yes,
didn't pick
he
Dottie.
did, yes, he drew her name, let me rephrase that. So the next one's in November, we're doing a little different, we're not buying coffee, we're gonna have a Keurig. And we're gonna have juice, water, and bagels, I think, instead. So you'll get to eat and all.
We're not buying coffee?
We're gonna have a Keurig,
No, we did buy coffee from the last time.
Dunkin' Donuts, but there were days that we had to wait. And it was it got expensive, so we're not gonna do that. That's why we said, Keurig would be just as easy.
Make sure you've got some dark roast for my days.
Yeah.
Dark roast. Alright, I'm gonna write that down.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Because we've already got coffee starting.
No, totally kidding, please don't do that.
I'll bring it from my house, because I
Just
have
bring 1 cup, because he's only gonna go to 1 meeting.
And he's out of here.
No, he's going to all of them.
4.
Well,
Yeah,
we're fine.
then I'm out of here.
Oh, because you're not out of here, are you too?
It depends on the voters.
Oh, there you go.
That's true.
There's your answer.
That's true, good answer. All right, I'm done, I believe. But I hold, what is that? I
told
hold the
Scott
right
that.
to,
I did tell him that if I have to run to keep somebody else from doing
yeah,
I'll sit in the corner and blow away thumbs.
I can't think of the right words. I hold the right to, I've done the TA report, but I hold the right to
One more thing.
cross-examine or
Reconsider.
whatever.
Reconsideration.
All right. Okay.
I don't have a select board.
Select board.
None?
Yeah, so let's, Sean, you?
No, we talked about the meetings, they went very well. I will note, it was on the information only, but because it's in my bailiwick, I guess I will mention that we did get notice from the state
Oh, yeah.
forestry division that they would be doing a sale on Sugar Hill next year, timber sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just thinking about that the other day as I was driving by, looking at the access, which is pretty much a driveway.
It is, yeah.
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 I can remember, it's been quite a while since I've been in there, but I remember them last time they were in there. So it shouldn't be a big, it's 45 acres, it shouldn't last more than 3 weeks, I would say.
Yeah. And they said they'd let us know
Yeah.
more information.
Yeah, and they'll have all the signage and we do get timber tax from that, it's state
Yeah.
property, but
The people who buy
the people who
wood.
buy the stumpage are responsible
Yeah,
for the timber tax, yeah.
I thought that was interesting when
Yeah,
I
it
read
is.
that. So.
Yeah. There have been some positives, positive movement on the trail project.
Yep.
In fact, I think they met tonight as well, or
No,
meeting.
they meet next Thursday.
Oh, next Thursday,
Next Thursday.
for the Army Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I've been telling people is we've gone from talking about if it can happen to when and how it's gonna happen. So that's some real positive stuff, so.
Yeah.
There was an email from them basically saying, let's get some GPS points, let's get a final GPS location, let's get a plan for where you're gonna cut and fill, and if there's gonna be, there shouldn't be any need to bring material in. You might have to move it around a little bit in the staging area. So they're really starting to think and talk about, how this is going to happen. So that's a real plus.
Excellent.
And then Buzz is starting to talk with, which I said that's fine as long as he
Yeah.
includes me. I asked Mike Vignali too. It
I've-
does say.
I have volunteered my helper to do the GPS
Do
work.
GPS work.
Yeah.
It said, so the positive deployments in the Perry Pass side, so he's emailed, the only thing we're waiting on is the partnership agreement, where the attorney gave us feedback, we made changes, we sent it back. It's taken him a couple weeks and I haven't heard, so I've reached out twice, so I'm gonna reach out again tomorrow. Cause we're just trying to finalize it and get it signed with the Army
Yeah.
Corps.
And they're also at the point where they want an actual GPS location because they're sending it to rare threatened endangered species, natural heritage, which is a big step. So,
And then it looks like Buzz reached out to get a final design, construction drawings, and labor material cost estimates.
yeah,
So that's huge.
Yeah.
So,
so good.
here's my reconsideration, I forgot to tell you, the parsonage, September 8th is asbestos remediation.
Good.
I think it was just a day that they needed, but I'll say 2 to be safe right now.
So that
And-
building should be down by the end of September.
Yeah, because according to when we met with the demolition contractor, he would do it a week after we let him know the asbestos is done.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna email all the parties again tomorrow. I gave them their update a few
Yep.
weeks ago, but I'll email all the parties again tomorrow. So they've been treating the tree, so that's been taking place now, so, but everything, knock on wood, is
Yeah.
ready to move
So
forward.
that ties in very nicely with our discussion about parking ordinance,
Yeah,
and business parking especially.
yeah.
And if we're gonna have if we end up going, and I'm not saying, but if we end up going to like a 2-hour thing downtown, we could reserve that area for, business employee parking, all day business parking,
Except Sundays.
except Sundays, right? Yeah. I mean, general public could use it too, but that would.
Yeah, in the
The
area that,
encouragement would be, get your people over there
Well,
so
you could
people
do
can
your
come.
the lockdown Central Street doesn't need to be 2 hour. I
Right.
mean, I'm just
Right.
talking
Right.
the spaces in front of businesses
Yeah,
that,
absolutely,
Yeah.
Has anybody been around town and noticed anything with the blasting? I've heard no
I
horns.
drove by a couple times yesterday, they were still drilling, so I
Oh,
don't know when they did it.
There's
but
a
it
boom
was-
in Bridgewater at like, God, 4 o'clock.
Oh, no,
But
when
that
the-
stuff
It
is,
sounded like Bridgewater.
that stuff is a non-event.
I was
they
gonna
have-
say, no sound, I didn't even hear horns.
They have so much coverage on those blasts
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
just a. Yeah, I did drive by a couple times, but I didn't see any, they were still drilling, so I was kind of hoping to see it, but it was not to be. I think that's all I have.
All right. First thing I had on my list was North Main Street parking spots. We'll cross that off.
I think he did.
Second thing I had on my list was downtown parking time limits and permits. We'll cross that off. So the other thing I do have, and this is a discussion that I have to continue with Ben, but I did just want to bring it up because it may incur a cost at some point, is the removal of a fire alarm system. And this ties into, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because this ties into our discussion we had earlier tonight. So at some point, the aerial portion has got to be removed. The conversation I had with Ben was that I'm not touching it unless we have a bucket truck. And even then, there's still areas that cannot be accessed with a bucket truck even. So there are, like, the lower end stuff, I'm hoping to get done this fall, but as far as the aerial stuff, it may be something at some point we need, that a contractor may be needed to remove that system. So,
I do have an item now.
item away.
Okay, so, taking note of all the recent construction in the downtown area over the weekend with the bucket trucks and everything, thinking all these projects are going on around the country, around the state, right? So a lot of those bucket trucks are probably been purchased or being used by these contractors.
Leased.
So it's gonna make it very difficult, and probably why it's taken so long to find a replacement good used bucket truck. So with the consideration, I think maybe if we can ask Victor to come in and we can bounce some ideas off of him about purchasing a man lift of some sort instead of a truck.
A towable.
Some sort of, either self-propelled or towable unit. That would be a benefit. It'd be a little smaller, could get into a different space. We would have to buy a trailer, but we're talking about buying other equipment down the road, so that trailer would get used. It's just another option that he could look into and maybe have success finding some. There are concerns maybe that would have to be registered, but I don't think.
Well, the other problem is with the highway department, a lot of what they're using it for is tree work. And in doing tree work, you also need a chipper with you, so it'd be a lot easier to tow a chipper if you have a bucket truck to tow it behind.
Yeah.
rather than have to have 2 trucks come up there and dedicate 2 trucks to it. No offense, I don't like the idea, like if I was in Victor's shoes, but that's for him to commit.
I think it's worth having a conversation with him.
So. Victor did reach out to me today for the contact for MB Tractor for the box plow. Gave that to him, but I haven't talked to him about it. Thank you to Christina for all her efforts. We had a great volunteer appreciation night.
Oh, yeah, we haven't met
Yep,
since then.
it was 2 weeks ago, Friday, before Old Home Day. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be at Old Home Day other than a couple hours in the morning, but it seemed to go well, so.
Old Home Day was great. I did go for a little while. I heard that the Lions Club sold a lot of food. There were a few hiccups, like the golf carts not showing up, and also some disagreements in setup. But those are all worked out.
Bound to happen with the number of vendors, which is
Yeah.
probably, it's
Yeah.
gotta be an all-time high. It was
Yeah.
very busy, it was good. It was great.
Turnout, when I was there early, turnout seemed a little low, but I don't know.
We got there,
how it
we were
was
heading-
later.
we get there maybe around, it's either just before lunch or just after lunch.
We were just before lunch.
Just before lunch, and it was a good amount.
Yeah.
It was really, the line for the Lions Club was back through the vendors.
Yeah,
I'm like, I guess we're not eating here.
so,
So the heat got to me that day, but I think it was a combination of the night before.
But-
And the heat also got to someone else, bless his husband.
yeah,
But, so she wasn't even at the dinner.
yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. But serious kudos, those are the things that no one sees, all the stuff that goes into it, and it's much appreciated.
No, and that's just, particularly with, thank you for, I know you put a lot of effort into that between setup and getting and your staff for getting all the raffle prizes together and the awards together. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see, that,
We get to show up, cook a couple of burgers, and
and
give a
read a speech that she
read a-
prepared for me. So.
I heard you.
But no, in all seriousness, excellent job on all that. You're doing.
I did talk to both of you, but I'd like to move it into September next year. If we're doing it again, and move it to the old historic town hall.
Yeah.
That allows us to set up any time of the
Yep.
week we need to and not have to try and set it up. And we can clean up whenever we want to, it's not a rush, so.
Perfectly reasonable to me.
We are doing, we did Sunshine, we called it Sunshine Awards. Anybody could participate. So you thought somebody did something really unique and thought they spread some sunshine. So we're doing that on September 25th. We're doing a luncheon here. It's going to be just the people who got recognized in department heads. So you're welcome to stop by. We're using the leftover hot dogs and hamburgers for the luncheon.
We should also mention that the community award went to
Oh, yes.
Lucille and Tom.
Yep, Lucille.
Lucille and Tom Keegan, they received the volunteer
It's kind of
appreciation.
busy year between that and the grand marshal of the parade.
And then we're planning of the rest of the year already because it's just easier. So we booked the public safety building to do just a lunch like we did this past year for before Christmas.
Yeah,
And it's just a couple of hours during the day and you don't have to cook. And we're doing it at the fire department because the problem here, I had food, multiple things of food, and it took me a while to get it warmed up and brought back here.
yeah.
And then it was cold by the time I got back here again, so it's easier. They have this.
Yeah, no, I think that's great use of the space.
So, budget, it just made me think of it for the budget session, breakfast, any requests? Deb's asking. We're doing, budget session, I said 9, but I'm thinking we might have to start at 8. I forgot that you need to also invite the TTCC,
Yeah.
and you'll need
I
to
mean,
invite.
On with chef, can we
Yeah,
Could we get some purple pit breakfast sandwiches and some muffins from Gina's?
Why can't we just provide our own damn breakfast?
we said,
She asked for
you
ideas.
know, you guys said you wanted breakfast and lunch. So
I mean,
I
if you wanna grab a couple pizzas
I
for
can
lunch
do,
or
whoops,
something.
apparently my phone's talking back to us now. I can just do, you know, for breakfast, I could just do fruit and bagels and coffee.
You're gonna-
Let's
are
see.
you gonna
Bring the
have Keurig
Keurig
machine?
down. I'll bring the what?
Uh,
I'll bring the Keurig down.
Bring the Keurig down,
Water.
a box of Joe, whatever, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't go over.
Pizza for lunch?
Couple
Sure.
pizzas for lunch, just to.
And do you want pizza for lunch for next Friday?
Oh,
No.
If you're here still till 2. No?
Nope, we will break for lunch if necessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all right, that's,
Yeah.
Deb wanted
If
to
they're
ask.
gonna, if they're gonna push us on that, we'll have a, we'll take
Yeah.
a 45-minute lunch break.
Well, one of you will have to leave by 2, so hopefully they're
Yeah.
done by 2. So. Okay. And so I think that covers my the schedules.
Okay.
I'm speaking at the I am going to the conference in November. I'm actually gonna be a panel member with our IT company. I'm like, seriously? So,
Good.
so I will let you know
Good for
ahead of
you.
time, but yeah, it'll be interesting because, they asked us to come in about the changes we made.
So it just occurred to me, as I got an email from a George Ness,
That's,
Nesset,
is it George or
Ness.
Jeff?
Jeff, whatever it was,
Yeah.
Ness IT, Nesset,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, his, Ness is his last name.
Yeah, it just occurred to me, when I got that email, I was like, oh,
He
stupid.
sends out a monthly thing
Yeah.
about things that
Yeah.
are going on, so.
All right, public comment?
Yeah, I do have a couple of issues.
Sure.
Steve Moore. First, just what's the address of the parsonage?
Right now, the address is 20 Summer Street, but it'll go away.
Number two, you had mentioned about Sugar Hill Law.
Mm-hmm.
Who polices that?
The State of New Hampshire Division of Forest and Lands.
Okay, when I talk about policing, I mean making sure that whatever contractor gets hired follows the rules.
State of New Hampshire
State,
Division of
yeah.
Forest and
Do they have
Lands.
someone on site when it happens?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's state property.
Right.
Right, and so they have a whole department that manages their properties and do timber sales on the state forests. And so, the regional forester would be out of the Boscawen office. There's been a lot of changeover, I couldn't tell you the name at the moment. Used to be Bob Hardy, the name is on the letter,
Oh, yeah, it's
Matt.
on the letter, so you.
Matt's-
From your experience, they are on site while it happens.
You can't be there all day, every day, but yes,
Understand.
but yes, yep.
Okay, it's just that the
John?
Sugar Hill, go ahead.
Is it, so you said Forest Ranger?
No, not the forest ranger, the name is in the
Oh, Forest Management Bureau, the administrator?
Matt, no, in the bulk of in the
Sorry.
text of the letter, it
Alright,
gives
here.
the
If you have
supervisor.
questions, Matt Lewis, the forester in charge of the project.
Right, he'd be out of the Boscawen
Thank you.
office. So, those are bid sales. They are registered, you have to be a registered bidder with the state of New Hampshire. There is a fairly hefty performance bond that is required on each operation, a timber sale contract with the state, which has all of the, pretty much the same things we have in our contract about, following all state rules and regulations, best management practices, cutting marked wood only, all of that stuff. The state jobs, I can be a critical, a lot of things the state does. The State Division of Forest and Lands does a great job managing their properties, and they do good active management, but also very good work.
That's good to hear. It's just with its presence in the town.
Yep.
It needs to look decent when they're done.
Well,
Not like some of the stuff that was done in New Hampton that everyone gets to look at.
yeah, the interesting part of that one is
I know it's not huge.
there's only about 100 feet of frontage that you could actually see anything, but it's one of those ones that was given to the state, and it has a very small access. So I actually would imagine that the operation that's in there, and I haven't been on the south end of that property in a long time, but I wouldn't expect it to be a very high-intensive operation, just because it's limited by the access.
Okay, I'm concerned because often they have
Yeah.
to create the staging area, which ends up being an eyesore when everything's done.
If you look on the map, when you drive by, the access to the state
Yeah.
forest is a driveway that serves a house, and they have a right-of-way through it.
Sure.
And so the actual property itself doesn't start for about 50 feet behind the house, kind of behind the back of the house.
Is that off of Winter Street?
No,
It's right here.
No, it's
right off
right
104.
there.
Blue house.
You
Yeah.
can throw, if you're a really good thrower.
Used to be a karate, used to be a little karate place in the basement there years ago.
Wasn't it the Haney house?
I don't know.
Which
The
access
blue house.
will
It's the
they be
blue house
going,
up on
there's,
Buzzy's old house?
which access are they going?
It's right at the turn.
Yeah, right in the curve there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, so that shows it the opposite way. The state owns the access, the driveway, and the house has a right-of-way.
Oh, there
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good, just because I think
Yeah.
being so close to the center is important.
Yeah.
Lastly, could you elaborate on your comments to do with trees behind the butterfly garden behind the library?
There was a tree that tipped over, fell over the river, not
Old ones or new ones?
dead, a dead tree.
Broke off.
I haven't, yeah,
But one, it was, I think it snapped off.
yeah, I'm assuming it's a dead old ash tree from Emerald Ash.
I think
Memorial,
so
but-
too, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of laying across the river, but not really in it.
Oh, the kids all love that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, well, the reason I bring it up is just because, as you know, there's a lot of items that were dedicated around, in front, and behind
Yeah,
the library, donating the names and memories of things.
Sure.
So any taking of those sorts of things has to be pretty careful.
Yeah. this was actually,
Those trees were my dedication, so
yeah,
I want to make sure, I thought I looked at them just 2 weeks ago, and they looked fine, but, okay.
yeah,
So-
no, they'd been there forever, just along the edge of the river, and they die and blow over into the river.
Yeah,
Yeah, So
okay.
the
thank you.
question is whether or not it was a safety concern. I don't think it is at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Paul, do you have something?
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out and remind you, I don't know if it's the select board or Christina or you guys working together, but the budget committee will start meeting. Our first meeting is Tuesday, October 14th.
October, yeah.
Make sure we have someone to take our minutes.
Oh, did we not?
We do, we have somebody who's per diem. so-
I thought you said she was just hired for the select board. They hadn't decided what we're doing with the budget committee yet. Did I
She's
misunderstand?
not gonna be, she's gonna do your minutes from
I had
video
misunderstood
only.
that, okay.
But your materials would be set up by either Deb or I, and the
Right.
meeting would be set up by Deb or I.
I
So
thought-
we kept her on per diem until we hire a replacement.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought she was on per diem just for the select board, and I just wanted to make sure
Oh, no,
that.
I'm sorry.
Okay, my
Um,
misunderstanding.
I don't have her doing the extra stuff, like the nonprofits and things like that. I took care of that, those went out this last week. And then, the meeting setup will either be Deb or I, so, until we hire somebody. The interviews have stalled because I can't do it, we can't do it all. But we are gonna hopefully start up interviews as soon as the finance person gets in, so. And right now I just have Deb, Heather and I doing the interviews, because we'll be working more with that person one-on-one at the reception. But if somebody else wants to jump in, we can add you in, so.
I also took a bit of a bullet for you last night. I think I talked someone out of trying to add their name, the organization to the list.
Thank you.
Well, as much as I would like to see it funded by the town, you can't make the argument that it offsets any costs, like some of the other stuff that we see.
There is one that got added, but the budget committee is gonna talk about the ones that, if they don't respond again,
Yep.
about taking them out, in the future, hopefully.
So, just so you're aware, we got a request after the budget process started last year. So, I don't know, I think we added them in and we voted not to
No.
fund them.
Oh.
I don't know, I don't remember exactly what
We
we
didn't put them
did.
in the budget.
Okay, well, we I think we agreed, we did discuss it in a budget committee
Yeah.
meeting, and we agreed at this point, we didn't want to add them in and add more money into the budget. But since they asked last year, we thought that we owed it to them, so we did send out a note
Yeah,
inviting them to ask again.
yeah,
I have my personal opinion, we'll see what the whole committee has to say. But we also talked about the fact that there's a number of, 3 organizations that didn't ask for money last year. And what I proposed to Christine is if they don't ask for money again, then I'm gonna propose to the committee that we take them off the invitation list.
Yeah. That's reasonable.
All right, did you have something we need
Yes.
to? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to go back into non-public session.
Closed up, do you have the,
It's, sorry, here.
You want me to turn the white noise thing on again on the way out?
Oh, sure, you wanna read it?
sure.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks
Thank
for
Thank you,
guys.
gentlemen, have a good night.
Thanks for all your
Uh, Make a motion to go into non-public session pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 91A3, 2A, B, and C.
Second.
Okay, motion by Sean, second by Scott to go back into non-public session. Roll call vote. Scott?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Rob? Aye. We are in non-public session.